All right, everybody, welcome to our second robot software class. Today we are not going to be messing around with, okay, we are, but we're also going to be actually touching code for the first time now, and you guys will, we're going to be checking out code from GitHub. So we're going to practice GitHub a little bit. Um, we're going to be setting up our environments with IntelliJ and VS Code because we need to make sure we know how to use the many tools that First gives us. And then we're also going to be going over the very basics of how timed robot works. If you attended the first class, you might remember when we chose a template or command-based robots and timed robots, we're using timed robot. And then I'll be going over the very, very basics of trying to do subsystems, controlling a joystick, and doing some math and setting motor output. So these are very basic stuff. We're going to be treating this robot code for now as a little bit more like a script and not as much as an overarching design. Eventually, when we get to later classes, you are going to see more and more of that. We're going to slowly try to show you how we do it the 2A1 freeway. But we're doing this just to make sure that you guys can get really solid understandings of how robot code works so that when you guys have to think out the box, you guys can and you guys aren't totally lost. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the most important thing, which is getting code on your computer. And if you remember last class, I taught you guys how to start an FRC project. But now I've already made a GitHub repository with our 2021 tutorial bot. If you took a look in the chat, I'll send it one more time because I think some people joined after. This is a GitHub repository for our 2021 tutorial bot. This is where you can go ahead and put your code online if you want to save your progress and if you want to check in if you're doing the code right. And basically, it's a way for us to exchange code and make sure that every class we're going to be on the same track. And this will more or less be in line of how we use GitHub eventually in the future as well when you guys end up having a build season. Probably not this year, but maybe next year. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to tell you guys how to do it. So if you guys can, I want you guys to all open up your, what do you call it? I want you guys to open up your GitHub desktop, okay? Let me show you GitHub desktop specifically. Okay. Can you guys give me a red, green check mark when you guys have GitHub desktop open? I know that sometimes on slightly slower computers, GitHub desktop can take some time to open. So I want to make sure that everyone is able to get their GitHub desktop open. Let's go ahead and continue. We're gonna go ahead and check out the repository code. Okay, so I'm gonna have some error messages show up because I already checked the code. But basically, if you're already in the 2A1 free team, and then you can DM, you can just say something in the chat privately if it doesn't show up for you. But if you go to File on the top, you should be able to see a new section that says clone repository. And that's what we're looking for right now, okay? So when you click clone repository, a little pop-up window should show up. And then for now, you're gonna wanna use github.com. And if you search for 2021 tutorial bot, you should select the one under prospect-robotics and then click on that one and check it out. So you can select it, keep the local path the same. I quite like that it puts in documents in GitHub. And you should be able to press the clone button. If you are not in the team yet and you have some issues trying to get this to work, you can go to URL and I can go ahead and copy paste the HTTPS link and you can just put it in here and then it will do the same thing, okay? So you guys are gonna go ahead and clone the repository, if that makes sense, all right? I'll spend this time right now to really quickly explain a few GitHub terminology. So basically, if you think about how Google Drive works, basically you store the files in the cloud, right? And then obviously, if you like add more files or remove files or you modify files, like you upload a file with the same name, you can see a history of when that file was changed and whatnot, and you can download past versions of it. Basically, GitHub is the same thing, except it's very detailed, so to speak. It's very specific. So it's a type of version control system, and basically it helps you manage the history of your code, and it helps let multiple people collaborate into one project. Okay. And right now, basically what we're doing is all of this code, this template code right now is stored on GitHub's own servers, and we're cloning it, meaning we're basically downloading it, but also saving some information about where we got it from. And we're saving it onto our local hard drive. So when it's on a local hard drive, we can do what we usually do with it. We can load it up in the IDE, you can change the code and whatnot. And then later on, you can tell GitHub which changes you want to report. And then you basically put them into a commit. Commit is basically like a report saying, hey, I changed this today. And then when you push the commit, you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the code on the online repository where the online code is. And then the code will update, but it'll also save a record of what you changed. So it's a way of keeping things in control, right? So let's see. Right now, we're still waiting on a few more people, so we'll wait a little bit longer because this is a very important step. I'm going to resume recording. Basically, now what we're going to do is you should have the 2021 tutorial bot cloned and saved to your computer. On the top left, it should say current repository 2021 tutorial bot. Okay. There should be another section here called current branch. So these are kind of like little repos that you can make by yourself. And you can see here, I already have a recent branch created. It's called Samuel. And what we're going to be doing is just to make sure that you guys get the idea of how to use GitHub at least a little bit. You guys are going to go ahead and make a branch in your own name. So if your name is Marco, go ahead and make a new branch called Marco. If your name is Sambri, go ahead and make a new branch called Sambri. So you can just go to the branch section, press new branch, and then call it whatever. Call it your name, okay? So I guess I'll just make a new branch called Samuel Temp, okay? That's all you have to do. And then when you're done creating a branch, there should be a publish branch option that shows up. And I want you guys to go ahead and try clicking it and publish your branch to GitHub. And it should show up on the GitHub website. You need to fork the repository.
No. If you're not in the organization, you do need to fork the repository. Make sure you're signed in with your GitHub account, or if not, go ahead and send me your username.
Okay, you guys are Grady. Ooh, that's something I didn't anticipate. By the way, give me a green check mark if you guys are able to. You're in the organization.
Oh, I know why. I threw them in new coders. I will fix that.
Okay.
I just need to give new coders permission to push to this repo.
Makes sense. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and open up the code in our IDEs. And I say that because this year, because we don't have a robot, we're gonna have to use basically simulation. We're gonna be running robot code on our own machine instead of running on a robot. But that also means we have to have VS Code and IntelliJ open at the same time. So for now, we're just gonna have to work around that. But let's go ahead and focus on getting VS Code to work first. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my entire screen for this. Okay. If you went to our last class, when we installed the WPI libtools, you guys should also have the opportunity to install VS Code as well. If you go to Windows, like click Windows on the bottom left, and you search FRC space VS, FRC VS Code should be one of the first options. Okay. And then I want you guys to go ahead and open that. And in the meantime, also go ahead and open up your IntelliJ as well. So have your IntelliJ open and also have your Visual Studio Code open at the same time, okay? And when you guys got that, or actually, yeah, let's go ahead and just open, I'll teach you guys how to open what about the FRC variant? You need to have the FRC VS Code variant. So in your Windows, if you're on Windows, when you search it up, there should be FRC VS Code. And yeah, Grady just sent, if you want to install it on your existing VS Code instance or installation, you can go ahead and install the plugin as well. But bottom line is, you don't have the variant. Okay, do you have VS Code, Vinny?
Oh yeah,
if you're on a Mac, there's no variant for FRC, so you're gonna get VS Code from VS Code's website, and then you're going to install the FRC plugin.
Okay, thank you, Grady. That would explain it. Vinny, Shivrov, Samri, you guys are on Mac, right? If I recall.
Oh no, I'm on Windows.
Correction, the
Already
plugin is
had,
called WPIlib.
Wait, Vinny, you're on Windows?
yeah, I already had VS Code, so I'd not install it when I was installing the other thing.
Okay, you can go and install the plugin though. Here,
Yeah.
I think I know how to do it from just the VS Code window. Okay, if you look at my VS Code right now, I believe if you go to the extensions section, if it's WPI lib, WPI lib should be one of the top ones. So just it's this one basically, and go in and install that plugin. If it tells you to restart VS Code, restart, whatever. Okay, so for those who already have VS Code and already have IntelliJ open, the first thing we're going to go and do is we're going to go ahead and open the project in VS Code. Okay, what you're gonna do is go to the top left, go to File, and then go to Open Workspace. Okay, opening Workspace is very important, and then you're gonna go ahead and navigate to where your GitHub project is. So if you're on Windows like me, you should be able to go to Documents and go to GitHub. Okay, and then you should find 2021 tutorial bot, and then inside there should be a file called workspace.code-workspace. Okay, and just go ahead and press open on that, and it should open a new window with the workspace that you're looking for. Okay. That's for Windows people. If you're on Mac and you don't know where it's installed by default, in GitHub Desktop, if you go to repository on the top, there should be something in here that says like open in Finder or something like that. Oh, should I just say open a command prompt? For what? Which folder do we select in the 2021? Okay. You need to go to Open Workspace and go to Workspace. Go into 2021 tutorial bot. And it should be a file called workspace.code-workspace. Okay, that's the file you want to open. And if you're on Mac and you don't know where this folder is, you can simply check where it is by going to repository, and it should be a show and finder button. You don't have to run the folder. Just in VS Code, just simply go to File, Open Workspace, and then select the file and press Open. That's all you have to do. So you're just opening up the workspace, okay? When you open the workspace in Visual Code, we're going to go and open it in IntelliJ IDEA as well. So go ahead and press open or import. If you already have an IntelliJ open, okay, like you already have a project open, IntelliJ, same thing, go to File, whether it's on the top left if you're on Mac or the top left of the window if you're on Windows. You can go ahead and press open, and then you can simply, actually, you should go to, yeah, no, just press open and then select the folder and just press OK. And it should already automatically load up the things for you. Okay. You think you have it? Okay, Grady wants to break a room with somebody. I'll do that right now. Break a room. Oh, what just happened? Okay, I'll close all the rooms, add a room. Grady and Sombri, open all rooms. Okay. Which folder do we click on? No, just click on, okay, when you're on IntelliJ, open the folder. When you're on Visual Code, open the file. Okay. VS Code, open workspace, you click the file. When you're in IntelliJ, you have to open the folder. Does that clear things up? Okay, that's fine, Marco. Be sure to check out the recording of this class later, okay? Because this is a very important step. Okay. All right, see ya. So how many people are able to open the workspace in VS Code and in IntelliJ? So Subrov, you can't. All right, Subrov, we already know your situation because you're doing it. Vinny and Yash, are you guys able to do it? So that should be what you need to start it. And the last step is to make sure that when you're in VS Code, to make sure that your code runs well. To make sure that you have your project set up correctly. On the top right, there should be a small WPI lib icon. And then when you click it, there should be a massive list of actions that show up. And then go ahead and try pressing build robot code and make sure that the terminal won't spit out any errors. So you should eventually see a build successful. You don't have the code with me at the top? Okay, I'll resolve that with you soon, Wendy. But basically in VS Code, make sure that you're able to, remember, go to the top right, click the WPI lib icon, and then press build robot code. And then see if your Gradle runs and if you get a successful build. If you do, then your environment should be all set up.